Revenge victim. You, dos cinco uno pingo. This is a long one. A 2 for 1 actually. One on the petty side. And the other was me meeting a revenge victim as a result of my pettiness. I needed to go into DC for a couple hours yesterday afternoon to tie a few things up at work before leaving for vacation. I won't leave until a bit after noon, so I was pretty hungry and decided to stop at this nice little deli grocery store on the way for a sub. It's a small establishment, but pretty popular. The parking lot is kind of weird. The spaces are on the small side and it's very narrow. I drive a full-size truck because I have to tow heavy shit often. I spot a corner space that's going to be easy for me to get in and out of, so I go for it. I back in partially and then pull out to straighten it up, and a lady swoops in my space in a little Fiat. I put my truck in park and looked back through the window. She was on the phone. When I gave a little honk, she looked up and gave me the finger. I gave her a slow shaking head and a thumbs down. I don't know why, but that gesture seems more impactful to me, like disappointment versus anger. I found myself another spot and started making my way to the deli. The angry lady was still engaged in her conversation and is now behind me walking to the deli. She's talking loudly on her phone about the redneck that almost wrecked her car in the parking lot, trying to gain sympathy from whomever she was speaking to. Like I goddamn tried to assault her with my vehicle. So, as I'm in the line to take a number to be served, it clicks, I can fuck with her a little bit today. I reach up to take my number, and pull the next 10, tucking them in as I turned around so angry lady didn't see them. I make my way down the line, passing out the numbers ahead of hers and mine, putting 10 people ahead of us to order and receive food, making her wait an extra 20 or so before she even got to order. Here's where it gets a little fun. My number was directly before hers, so I just waited at the counter after they called mine. As the girl walked up with the next sub, I asked if it was number 469, angry lady's sub. It was, of course, so the deli never called her number and I bought both subs. I don't know how long she waited before she asked about her order. I do hope she wasn't an asshole to the workers though. The second part of this is what I did with the extra sub. I told a story from college a while back, and in the comments I mentioned that I try to be a little extra now. Part of that is being kind to strangers. I work in DC. There are a ridiculous amount of homeless people here, so I pack an extra lunch a few days a week to eat with some random person. The extra sub was gonna be my lunch date with whoever I ran into that looked like they needed a meal after I parked my truck. I found my overpriced parking spot quickly and grabbed the sandwiches and a couple bottles of water before making the trek towards work. I spotted a guy sitting on a bench with a little sign asking for change. I asked him if he'd like to have lunch with me. His eyes lit up and he shook his head yes. We had a little casual conversation and he asked me why I bought him a sandwich. I told him that oddly enough I bought it out of spite and told him how I came into ownership of said sub. He laughed, said it was fate that revenge brought him a sandwich, and proceeded to tell me the following story that led him to the life he now lives. He was a young investment banker in the late 90s making serious money. He was married and had a *X addiction. He would spend thousands of dollars on high-dollar hookers to do all kinds of weird shit to him. He eventually got himself a sugar baby and set her up with an apartment in the city. He had no interest in children, but his wife did, so he got a secret vasectomy, thinking that he was only going to be fucking 2 people now. He liked the idea of no condoms or babies at either house. His plan was to stay at the apartment for a couple weeks to heal while his wife thought he was in San Francisco for business. Unfortunately for him, his urologist's office called his home line to check in after a couple days. This is when his wife started to learn of all his illicit behavior. The cheating, the spending, the stealing of her future family. Over the weeks he was gone, she uncovered his secrets to her, and she sat on it. He told me in the weeks and months after his vasectomy she started wanting to go out, get drunk, experiment with drugs and group sex. He was amazed at how much he and her were in sync now. He loved their newfound lifestyle. He really loved the cocaine. So much that he had to evict his sugar baby from the 7 to 8K he was spending a month on blow. He couldn't handle the expense anymore along with his habit. Luckily, his wife was still ride or die with the swinging, snorting life they had built. So he was going to be okay, and she was going along with every fantasy. Recruiting men and women to have S*X with. She kept building up this fantasy of having a threesome with his boss's wife, whispering things in his ear when they were having S*X. Just really putting her at the forefront of his thoughts. Christmas party time rolls around and the whole staff is wasted. She keeps at him about the forbidden poo *sigh. The boss's wife goes to the restroom and his wife follows her. After a few minutes they come out and the boss's wife waves at him. As his wife approaches, she tells him that she's down to swap and that's why she waved. Next time she goes to the restroom he should just follow her in. She kept him at her side and fluffed until she sent him gleefully trailing behind his superior's wife into the restroom. No, that is not at all what she was waving for. Wifey had said that he didn't think she had seen him all night and a wave would make him feel better. He exposed himself and said he couldn't wait to taste what her husband left in his wife. After the scream and slap, the party halted. The next day he was fired and subsequently blackballed from his industry. His cocaine habit sucked what little finances he had left after the divorce. He couldn't keep a job after his life fell apart. He's now homeless and has given blowjobs for a warm place to sleep and a meal. No, not for this meal. TLDR. He cheated. She got him addicted to blow and made him try to F***K his boss's wife, resulting in a chain reaction, ultimately leaving him homeless. I don't know if this is true, but it made for a good story. During luncheon he seemed pretty sharp aside from the obvious drug addictions. I slid him a 20 for the sheer entertainment value. Hope I catch him for lunch again sometime. Talk to a homeless person when you've got a few minutes and it feels safe. They have some great stories. Pro tip: bring a heisted sandwich. I'm sure there are typos but I don't F***ing care. I'm off work for 10 days and I have a shitload of pot to smoke. Karma got me for the angry lady at lunch. I walked in on my Nana having S*X in a hot tub last night thinking that the sounds were someone in trouble.